Well, we're in Italy, you know that. Naples, Italy. Well, when you think of Naples, you think of all sorts of things, but I know what I think of, the birthplace of pizza. Yeah, this is where pizza came from, folks. So we're going to find out what great Neapolitan pizza tastes like, and while we're at it, let's take a couple of side trips to places like Pompeii, Vesuvius, you know, the usual roadshow. Stay tuned. Like I said, we're here in Naples, on the bay, beautiful, great port town, really historic. It gets a fair amount of bad press. People say it's dangerous. You know, the Italians will tell you, don't carry your purse down the street. I found that to be nonsense. And yeah, sure, it's the birthplace of pizza, but before we get down to food, let's do a little road trip up to the hills for a quick spin through Pompeii, the historic Roman city buried in volcanic ash in the first millennium. 79 AD, to be exact. Somebody look that up for me. Thanks. Hard to imagine. That thing was rumbling, blue. The lava came down. This was actually discovered when they were drilling for water. They were drilling for a well at the turn of the century, and a vase came up, and then they drilled more, and other artifacts came up, and they realized there was something down here. So this excavation was stunning to have found this city basically buried intact, relatively intact as things go, but this is all that's left, but incredible history. So the volcano's still active. It's a quiet day, so we're not worried today, but this is Pompeii. Are we idiots or what? We just hiked to the top of this thing. But if you get all this talk about Mount Vesuvius, you can't do this and talk about Pompeii and not get into the volcano. So we hiked. It was about 25 minutes carrying the rig up here. Joe Conlon, thank you very much. If I can mention you by name. It's August. It's about 90 degrees on the beach. And what do you think, 65 up here in windy? Yeah. Anyway, that's Vesuvius. And I'm checking out. I'm not big on heights. You shoot, I'm walking. Pizza was invented in Naples. No dispute about that. New Yorkers can talk about where the best pizzas are in New York City. I'll enter into that discussion another time. But since we're in this region, I'm coming to Naples. We're going to do pizza in Naples. And here I'm at a restaurant recommended to me by Faith Heller-Willinger. She's fantastic. L'Europeo by Mattozzi. That's the owner. We're going to meet the gentleman that runs this sixth generation, I think. They've been in this spot in this historic town where pizza was started. We're going to have a great pizza here and talk about what it is that makes pizza great, the essence of it. The crust, the tomatoes, the cheese, basil olive oil, simplicity, and the food here. You know, we can do what we do. Eat, drink, and be merry. Neapolitan style this time. Pizza. Pizza. I'm from New York, and New Yorkers love pizza. It's very hard to do the simplest things, and pizza's simple. Define for me the definition of what makes the classic Neapolitan pizza.
I love the very simple pizza, the classic. Only very tomato fresh is nice. Possible with the cheese. My love only tomatoes. It's nice for me. It's good.
How many generations has your family been in this business?
I am in the fourth generation with my little girl and my little boy, sixth generation in my restaurant. My family is a very old family.
It's one of the master pizzaioli in the town where pizza was invented. Naples, the holy grail of pizza. What's the secret to great pizza?
Passione, semplicità.
Besides passion, I need ingredients. We all have passion. But there must be something else. There's flour, there's tomato. Do you explain to me, like, the simplicity is so hard. How do you do it?
Marco? Prima ho detto la semplicità e la
It's not only about the ingredients, the salt, the flour, the tomatoes, but it's that you have to want to do something the best in the best way.
You know, one of the things that always impresses me about Italian food, and especially in the South, is it's simple and it's just about ingredients and not getting in the way. You know, linguine, clams, cuttlefish, just simple fish, sautéed, grilled, olive oil, lemon juice, olives, tomatoes, parsley. Good, great, simple cooking, that's really what's at the core of Southern Italian cuisine. Next up, Restaurant Matteo. This is a little hole in the wall and it's packed. It's on a little side street. I probably would have found this place only because I saw this big crowd outside.
Valentina! Hey, Valentina!
Really some decent pizza. And I'd love to say that I discovered it and this is a find, but you know what? Our globe-circling ex-president appears to have beaten me to it. We're in the Pizzeria di Matteo, which is this incredible little hole in the wall in Naples. Incredible pizza, and we have some appetizers. This is amazing. It's frittatina, or macaroni fritta. It's fried macaroni. The pasta is bucantini. Cooked inside is meat sauce and mozzarella cheese, bound with a bechamel sauce. So the bechamel is what gives it the body. Then it's dredged in a little bit of a slurry of flour and water and deep fried. It's unbelievable. I mean, deep fried pasta. I'll break it open, hopefully. You'll get a sense of it. Yeah. It's amazing. It's the first lunch we've had in 2 days. And this course, this is something I've never had before that's absolutely beautiful. Frittatina. Frittatina. The pizza is coming. What makes a classic Neapolitan? What is the classic Neapolitan pizza, the Neapolitan style?
Molti anni fa quando è uscita la pizza, la marinara.
Okay, the classical pizza, the first pizza is the marinara pizza, just with tomatoes and garlic. Then a pizza maker made a pizza for Regina Margherita, and he named it Margherita, and he made it with the mozzarella and basil leaf, just to make the Italian flag, the three colors of the Italian flag.
I learned something. I got you. All right, folks, bear with me one more time. We're going to do another little road jaunt to the north side in Naples for this really bizarre place that I've read about. It's been written about since, like, forever, but you have to see it to believe it. Stay with me. Check this out. We had to come here today. I know this is a food show, but look at this. This isn't Star Trek. This isn't the Twilight Zone. This isn't the Spielberg movie. This is a place called Solfatara. It's unbelievable. This is just north of Naples, and who knew? The Greeks discovered this place, and they didn't know what to make of it. I mean, they thought this was from the center of the earth. Homer wrote about this. This place is just absolutely deep, thick with history. Phlegraean Fields is the name of the place, and again, we're standing in Solfatara. This is an active volcano. I've got flip-flops on below my feet, and it's so bloody hot. The steam coming out of here is 160, 170 degrees. If I step down here, you get, ouch, I got burned. Seriously, it's that hot. There's steam coming out from under my feet. This is unbelievable. Again, we're just north of Naples in this bizarre area, and I just can't imagine what the Greeks, when they came upon here, were thinking, how to explain this phenomenon. Heck, I don't know how to explain it, but it's an active volcano. It's very sulfurous, and it's funny because in some of the wines from this region, we had a Greco last night, and you can almost smell this kind of sulfurous quality in the nose as part of the minerality. I just couldn't let you miss this. I know this is a food show, but look at this. I mean, this you could cook on this, so I guess that's my link. Anyway, Solfatara is the name of the place. It's just north of Naples. Phlegraean Fields, history galore. If you come this way, you have to check it out. All right, last stop before we head back into my kitchen. Another little hole in the wall buried in the labyrinth of the Neapolitan city. And I couldn't even begin to tell you where we are, but man, this pizza rocked. Mad hot. Oh, can you see? But important. This is a bite towards the center. The dough's completely cooked, and this is one of the criticisms I had today of a couple of pizzas that we had in Naples, was that because of the volume they were doing, and maybe the mozzarella was weeping. I'm not sure. The oven temperature could be a lot of variables, but the dough in the center was falling. You pick up the pizza, it would drop, and the dough, when you scrape the topping back, it was wet, and I hate that. With you're eating pizza, and you scrape it back, and you realize you're eating kind of half-cooked, yeasty bread. I don't like that anywhere. Naples, New Jersey, New York, no. This is great. You're right. This is great pizza. Where the hell are we? What's the name?
We are in San Valentino Torio.
Good luck finding it on the map. And the name of this place is I Due Fratelli
Terremoto.
Is that really their name?
Yes.
Does Terremoto
That
mean
means,
anything?
the earthquake brothers.
Well, they're big guys. I don't know where the earthquake comes from, but this kind of rocks my world. So we'll give them props on the earthquake part. Hey, METHOD. You know that song? There's a method. There's a method to this. This is really good pizza. You're right, Giuseppe. Giuseppe Di Napoli. We have to introduce him here. He hasn't been on camera the whole time. He's my Sherpa. He's one that dragged us here. You'll never find this place. It's a little tiny dot. There's no tables. Look, this is the restaurant. Oh, there's that. A few tables outside, a couple of locals on a Friday night. Amazing pizza in the middle of nowhere.
Thank you.
Grazie mille, Giuseppe. All right, let's eat. Thanks, guys. This is great. Okay, we're back. Back from Italy. God, that trip was great. The cuisine, Naples is this funny city. It's this great port town, and so much of Italy down there, again, south of Rome, it's like another country. And for years it was under Greek domination. Naples was under Spanish domination for a while. The Moors, they were attacked from all angles. But the people are really flinty. There's a real beauty to being on the water. The city, the antiquity that Matazzini, is that the name of the restaurant, was wonderful. The guy that had been there for all those generations, charming host. I loved the food there. And when we went in, there was an area in the back, and 8 or 9, maybe 10 plates of just antipasti, of vegetables and cheeses and roasted peppers and little fried fish and little fish salads. And what a great way to eat. So what am I going to cook? That's the question. When you're south of Rome, it's a poor country, and you don't see much beef. You see lamb, you see pork. That's what's commonly eaten, and of course seafood all along the water. So I thought today, in the spirit of that whole, Campania, southern Italian tradition, we got a beautiful piece of pork. I went to the butcher and this is a real nice, it's got great marble. This is one of these heritage breeds of pork, but you can see it's almost marbled like steak. Nice thin flecks all the way through, big, thick pork chop. And as if that wasn't enough, I got this monstrous Italian sweet pork sausage. And then for the pasta, the primi piatti, was in Union Square Market, which I love to frequent on Wednesdays and Fridays. And I'm not so much a fan of baby eggplant, but these are just delicious. I've been buying them all summer, and this is something warty. I don't even know what this is. Not an eggplant, something in the same family. These are some variation on yellow squash, but you can see from the end, these were cut in the last 24 hours. They're beautifully fresh. I just want to make a very simple pasta. We'll cut these real thin. We'll get a pan hot, put in some garlic, a little bit of brunoise onion, just barely let that take any color, add these vegetables, toss them, and we're going to slow cook them. It's something, I'm not sure where I saw it. I think I saw it in Italy. And you lose a lot of volume. You're slow cooking these squash. And then we're just going to serve pasta with that. A little olive oil, a little fresh basil, salt, some cracked pepper, maybe some hot red pepper if I want to put that in the sauce, and just a good pasta. So a real simple pasta. There is no sauce. The sauce is the zucchini cooked down, the squash cooked down, the base of the onion, the olive oil, the garlic flavoring that. That'll be tossed over the pasta like a little bit of a dressing. And the main course will be the pork. So in real time, I've got water on boiling behind me. Let's season. Plenty of salt and pepper. All right, got my pork there. Let's see how hot this pan is. It feels hot. Yeah, that oil's already at its smoking point. Turn it down just a notch. When the zucchini are this small, a lot of time with bigger zucchini, I don't use the seed, the center part, but here I'm not going to mind. And I'm going to keep them in little rings. Because wherever I had this dish, and again, I think it was in Italy, this is how the squash was cut, just straight through. Really, this really loses a lot of volume as you cook it. It's amazing how it cooks down. All right, we got, this pan started screaming hot, so. Nice, golden brown. Careful not to break the casing. And just let this go nice and easy. Pasta water, you can see it's in the back. Salted, we're just gonna keep that ready to go and drop the pasta in a couple of minutes. Next we'll chop up an onion and some garlic and get ready with the squash. All right, we're gonna put, as I said, we're gonna start with a little bit of garlic here. Well, more than a little bit. I like a lot of garlic in this dish. Because it's really gonna be one of the, squash isn't the most flavorful thing. I mean, it's healthy, it's good to eat, but it's not exactly one of those screaming flavors in the vegetable pantheon. So we're gonna give it some help. One of the other reasons I like this dish so much is because you're cooking the squash down a lot, you actually are concentrating the flavor. There's not a lot of flavor in it, but because we're almost reducing, and you'll see again, we're going to reduce that volume by probably close to half. You end up really tasting the squash in the finished dish. It's so simple. And with good pasta, it's like magic. Take the seeds out of the pepper. They tend to be hot. And this doesn't have to be any soigné cut, just small, so nobody gets a big bite of pepper. Some olive oil. First, the garlic. Just let that sweat out a bit. I'm going to put a little basil in here in a minute. I'll finish it with basil, and I always like to put basil in the beginning because it kind of leaches out into the oil. It just gives you a nice foundation right up front. Now we're going to add the squash, which really is going to cool the pan down considerably. We're going to add some salt. Turn the flame up a tad. And just as soon as well, listen, you'll see. As soon as it sounds like that pan's got the heat I need, we're going to turn it right back down and let it slow cook. Now, can you hear this pan? Hear the difference now? It's how it's hizzling. When I put in the squash, it was quiet. Now I've got heat. A couple of things are happening. The pan recovered its heat because we put in, about 2 cups of room temperature to cold ingredients. Pan dropped down, got cold. Now the pan's recovering its heat. But you'll also see, if you get that camera on, there's steam escaping. That's what I want. That's evaporation. We're going to cook this squash down in volume. What's the volume it's losing? Water. Where's the water? Steam. You can see where we have some pieces that have taken some color. They're drying out. I'm going to turn here was my flame. I'm going to turn the pan down probably to medium-low and just real nice because I don't want a lot of color on this squash. I really want it to dry out, but gently. Not a lot of oil in this pan right now, and you still see there's plenty of steam wicking up off of that. Meantime, our pork chop friend, you can see the size of this chop. I've been turning it. This is probably 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the color I want. I want that great exterior color. This, again, is over moderate heat. Not a lot of heat. Nice, easy stovetop cooking. That's why it's not burning. You can go in the oven. I'd prefer not to do that. I just, every couple of minutes I give it a turn. This way it never has a chance on any one side to get too dry. And in about 2 minutes, we'll drop the pasta, which is going to take probably 12 minutes to cook. So I'll time it just like you would timing dinner. Drop the pasta so that I know when that 12 minutes later, I'm shaking that pasta in the colander. The squash is where I want it. Pork chop's done. Dinner's on the table. Let's check our squash. They're getting smaller. This is the incredible shrinking squash. Little by little. Now the heat's real low. That's my flame setting. Real low, medium low. Pretty big, pretty thick pan, but we're going to get these guys to cook down. I'd say we've probably lost 1/3 of the volume now. And you can still plenty of steam coming off, so a lot of room to go here. And this is just a nice little Italian brand, Montebello. I was going to go to my Bell'Italian Chelsea market. He's got great pasta, but I never made it, so This'll work. Some penne ricotta will be perfect with the squash. Give it a stir. This way it doesn't stick in the beginning. All right. I think it's kind of evident now, even on the camera, that this squash is reduced a lot. I mean, that's a real thin layer now. I mean, almost the discs have shrunk. This is right about where I want it. Picked up a little color from the pan, but it's reduced a lot. I'm going to leave it right on this low heat. I mean, the heat's still on, but now the flame is on that lowest simmer setting just to finish it off. But that's beautiful. It's going to taste great. We're going to pull out the sausage now. The sausage is cooked. Because it's in casing, no steam could escape, so that sausage is done. I don't want to overcook it. You see that's also shrunk a bit. Now I'm just cooking the pork on the fat side to get it crisped up a little bit. Put it back down. This pork is not going to take too much longer. Give the pasta a stir, and I think everything's going to be ready together. This is just a mix of real nice fresh parsley from the market and some fresh basil. Can't go wrong finishing anything with this. We'll put the pasta right in, and we'll toss that in a second. That's it. I'm going to hit this with a little bit of salt, a little bit more extra virgin olive oil, just to give me a little sheen, to give me a little of that olive flavor. And also, that's going to help pick up a little bit of what's left on the pan, sort of the fond or the base. All right, it's got our herbs in here. And we'll put this on a nice big plate. Give it some room to breathe. And again, this is, unless you're totally carb averse, this is really healthy here. Lots and lots. And look how small that squash has gotten. It's just cooked down to next to nothing. A couple turns on the pepper mill. And we'll let everybody put their own cheese on. I'm just going to put a little bit of cheese. And here again, we're using Parmesan Reggiano. All right, without any further ado, we know the pasta is going to be good. That's a given. I mean, how can anything that looks like that not be good? We'll get to that later. In the meantime, let's cut into this. Let's see what we have. Yeah, it's just slightly pink, steaming. But you see, it's still got that hue. It's not gray. Outside's cooked, inside's got good moisture. It's the difference between good pork and commodity pork is huge. And you see this has that nice color all around it. All three sides. That's great. Now, how can you go wrong with this? Squash cooked down by half. And this is just the simplest. This is this sort of rustic Italian food that's just driven by ingredients. Good pasta, great vegetables, farm fresh, simple flavors, great balance. So, Southern Italy, lots of pork, lots of lamb, lots of simple dishes like this. Easy to do at home, as long as you're shopping in the market and you're getting great ingredients, because that's Italian food versus French food. Italians, ingredients don't get in the way, keep it simple. French, great ingredients, but it's much more technique driven. So Italian food's so simple to do. It's great to have traveled down there. Love Naples, love the surrounding area. Great wines. That Greco di Tufo was super. That'd be a great wine for this meal right here. What did I think of that? I could use a glass right now. Anyway, bon appetito. See you next week. Thanks for watching. Eat well at every occasion. That's my motto. See ya.